Lee Escobar is on a mission to teach others how to win the battle for financial freedom. A successful businessman and real estate investor, he is also the author of Rich Soldier, which is a straightforward, to the point, unapologetic approach to gaining financial freedom for military and civilian alike. And it's good to have you with us today, Lee. Now, I mentioned military because you're still serving as a reservist. You were in active duty for some time.
Well, I was never officially active duty. When I did my training, yes, I was doing active duty time, but I still serve as an Army chaplain in the reserves because that's my calling. So I wanted to do that in spite of my success, in spite of what I've done financially. It's still part of who I am.
Yeah, and a real big part of who you are too is trying to help families and help guys that are coming back and ladies that are coming back from active duty to kind of reintegrate and have a good financial footing when they enter back into civilian life. Is that a difficult transition for many?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really actually a really hard transition. A lot of people don't even have a clue of what a military member has to go through when they start either going from active duty and back to the civilian world, or even from being overseas and coming back as a reservist into the civilian world. And it becomes a big transition financially. And one thing that I'm really giving out, and really what I want to tell my military members, is that you can do something different. You don't have to suffer financially. You don't have to be in a bad place financially. There's a lot of programs that the military offers to help with that transition. And one thing that I want to do is I want to take my successes as a successful business person, as an investor, and actually be able to give them those tips and ideas and those core ideas that they need to actually make the transition and do it safely financially.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what's step one in making the transition?
Well, the biggest step first is, number one, you have to evolve. And what I mean by that is things are different, things have changed. It's moving from the military life to the civilian life is going to be totally different. So you have to be willing to evolve, which means become aware that things are different. And once you evolve, then you can actually move on to your next step.
Which is?
Educate yourself. You know, we're not taught as a whole in society about a financial education. What type of education are we given? Go to school, get a job, work hard. So what's lacking in the school system, what's lacking in any transitional system is that is a financial education in the sense of learning how to become entrepreneurs, learning how to become business owners. I've really found out, and I've really seen that you're only given one choice: go to school, get a job, work hard for someone else. But what I want to bring out is that you have the power to choose something different. And then you have to educate yourself on what you don't know, which is we're not taught how to become business owners. We're not taught how to be entrepreneurs. So educate yourself on what you don't know. Then that actually then gives you the ability to go to the next step, which is to execute it. Become aware, learn it, and then put it in action.
Now, with Rich Soldier, obviously the word soldier kind of does stand out there, you know, quite a bit. But it's applicable. These principles are applicable across the board. And in reality, you say that, you know, we're all enlisted in some kind of service in one way or another. We all represent that kind of mindset as well.
Yeah, one thing I really portray is a lot of people look at the book as just for military, but actually, if you're in the battle for financial freedom, if you're in that battle for financial security and financial peace, then obviously you're now a soldier in that battle. And in the book, one thing that I'm really giving also is the basic ethical foundations to actually become financially secure, and I call those the wealth ethics. There are certain principles that allow wealth to come towards us as we pursue it at the same time.
Okay, so talk to me about one or two of those principles, because we hear name it and claim it preachers all the time talk about the principles of wealth and how to attract money to you. And some people disagree with that. What are some of the principles that you
Well, this is from a different perspective. Like the first one is focus on changing lives, and the money will come. See, a lot of people start focusing on money. So when you focus on money, it gives you this vibe, or gives you this feeling that people get from that you're just money hungry. You know, but when you start focusing on changing lives, then you really, truly can create win-win situations. You know, you can create conversations and negotiating techniques in a way where people just want to win today. You know as well as I know, and people in your audience, we just want to win. And when you start helping other people win, then money will come towards you as you come towards it.
Now, what's kind of your background? How did you get involved in entrepreneurship and investments and kind of make your mark, so to speak, in the financial realm?
Well, the biggest thing was I come from a military background. My mother went into the Army as a private and ended up retiring as a major. So for me, financial security meant being in the military. And I really wanted to combine my faith with my love for the military, which was to become an Army chaplain. So I went to my officer basic course, and then I found out that I had a problem with my knees and my shins. I really couldn't pass the PT test like I needed to be competitive as an officer. So when I left my officer basic course, I came to a decision point in my life. Says, what do I do now? What do I do next? Where's my security at? So at that time, I was actually managing a restaurant. Then I moved into, well, I was an assistant manager. I moved into the management position. And then when I saw the money that was coming in, I just got really smart. And I said, you know what? If I do what they've done, have the same system that they have, use the same name that they have, and be mentored by them, I can have the same type of success. And that's what ended up happening. And that's when that entrepreneur...
So you then became an owner.
Restaurant owner, correct. And then that's when that entrepreneurial spirit that had always been inside of me started to start coming out. I really believe there's a lot of us that have this entrepreneurial spirit inside of us, but because we're taught go to school, get a job, and work hard, it really never gets to fully come out.
Right.
And I was forced, because of the military, to take my lack of being able to go active duty to find another income. Then I just took what I learned in the military, which was systems, and I took the passion, and I took our core values. See, every military service has a core value like loyalty, duty, respect, honor. And I want to let people know that, especially our military members, that our core values actually translate better to becoming into the financial world and becoming entrepreneurs than they'll ever translate to becoming translate into the regular job force financially.
Right.
At the top of the show, I introduced you as a multimillionaire. And there's some people who are like, good, I'm glad you're a multimillionaire. Maybe you can teach me how to become one. But there are other Christians who feel like if you have all of this money, then, you know, then maybe you're not as sold out to Christ as you could be. But you said that your principles are rooted in the Word of God. Talk about that. You talk about Luke 14, Proverbs 16, Proverbs 20.
Well, here's my feeling. I'm more rooted with Christ. I'm more rooted in the Word, because we know from the Word of God that giving is very powerful. And when you're giving and you're really giving, because I do a lot of giving in my life, and what, you know, I had a pastor one time on my Facebook page say to me, you know, if you're because I put on there's two types of money problems, too much and not enough. And so, and I also put on there, you know, being rich won't make you happy, but neither will poverty, you know. So then he said, well, if you're so rich, why don't you give money to me and help me out? And I said, well, that's my problem. I said, if you know anything about the Word of God, which you should, the more you give, the more you get back. So you can't outgive God. So I keep giving and I keep giving. Next thing I know, more keeps coming, the more keeps coming. And the more I can give, the more I can change lives. And it's just become an amazing life to me.
Yeah, wonderful. For someone watching today, and maybe they're coming back from the field somewhere, or just, you know, an average person just watching today that is really concerned, has a lot of anxiety about the insecurity of the financial future, what would you say to that person? Because there is a bit of time involved and a bit of risk involved in kind of launching out there in your own venture, so to speak.
Well, first of all, let me handle the risk part. Having a job is just as risky, if not more, today. I mean, you can lose your job just like, you know, instantly.
True.
When you're in control of your future, and we have our Father who's in control of us also, and when we're walking the way we need to walk, doors start to begin to open. And so the first thing I would begin to tell the people is, number one, you don't know. I always tell people I was just dumb enough to be rich. I knew I didn't know, but I was also smart enough to know that there's other people out there doing it. So if I did what they did, learned what they learned, and believe what they believe, I could have the exact same thing. So the first thing is, number one, is realize that you can. I have a Father that tells me I can, and I know I can. And so what I do is, you can't tell me I can't. So the next thing I do is this: learn what you don't know, begin to read books, begin to take trainings, begin to understand how money works, begin to learn how to open up businesses, and then get mentors. There's nothing in this world more powerful than a mentor, because a mentor kind of like hovers over you to make sure that you're doing the right thing as you've taken the education. The risk takes place when you just say, oh, I want to be a business owner, I want to be an entrepreneur, let's just go for it. You know, that's where the risk takes place. But when you're educated and you have other people who have been there, done it, and are still doing it, watching over you, that's where the safety comes in.
For what about for that person who says, you know, I was during the election, of course, Governor Mitt Romney talked about that's how he earned his millions, becoming an entrepreneur, opening up businesses, and that was his response to some of our crises, that the financial crisis that we're in. But for that person who says, I just don't kind of have that in me to run a business or, you know, to jumpstart something, what other ways can they, what are their avenues to making money?
Well, the reason why it's not in them because we haven't been taught.
Right.
Okay.
I really believe we're a product of what we've been taught, and what we taught is what we believe, and what we believe is what we put into action. So it's just a matter of re-educating, re-educate yourself. You'll make more money when you learn to re-educate yourself on how to make more money.
Okay.
One last question. We just got a moment here. Maybe for some veterans today. What resources are out there for them specifically to help them kind of begin down this pathway?
Well, first of all, there's a great website out right now called militarybenefitreports.com. And what that does is it's a free website where our military members can type in their information, militarybenefitreports.com, and it'll let them know what type of resources are out there for them, especially in the civilian world, also their GI Bill, okay? So it takes all the information and puts it into one place, and it actually prints out a report for them customized on their needs. So it's a very powerful
some
website
good
right
information.
there.